hands of the killer. I wake up one night to a horrible scream outside my window. Sounds like the killer is at it again. The moon is high, but I'm feeling restless. The apartment block's protective shutters have gone down for the night. Maybe a walk around is what I need. Progress on my new zine remains slow, as I keep falling asleep in the middle of the sentences. On the other hand, the effect is kind of funny. Is this what it means to be new wave? BB's report noted strange masks. Recently, strange masks have begun appearing in the city. What's with these masks? Nobody wants to talk about them. In the bathroom, a mysterious phosphorescent glow comes from behind the mirror on the wall, along with a scraping sound. I'd like to pull it off someday, but I think it'd mean losing the deposit. BB, is that you? I think we're running low on merchandise for the online store. My sister Zizi is still hard at work. Her hours have become increasingly irregular since she started using the internet every day. She says it makes her smarter, but at what cost? If you're already awake, could you run for some supplies? Using forbidden knowledge, Zizi discovered we could pay the rent by putting mysterious items up for sale online. I'm in charge of inventory, which means my job is grabbing them beforehand. But nobody seems to guard these things or pay any attention when they're lost. Who's buying them? How do they have any value? I told you, that's the economy. Nobody said it has to make sense. Just keep an eye out for any old Beanie Babies while you're out there. Wow, this must be the exciting new sense of direction in life that can only come via attaining a career. Aside from the night noises, this part of the city has many amenities. The rooms here are cheap because of all the murders. Unfortunately, rent is due all the same. Another reason for the cheap ruins is the antiquated security system, far beneath today's superior anti-murderer technology. This elevator will be unusable till morning. The shutters are scored and pitted on both sides with knife marks. Every week someone leaves one of these flyers in the hall. I often wonder what it is about this town that leads to such a weird advertising sensibility. Grabbers, we'll take you away! Television is playing a foreign drama, but I can sort of work out what's meant to be happening. Friendly reminder, owner's not liable for what happens in the tunnels. A soft vibration runs through the floor of the laundry room. None of the other residents are around at this hour, but all the washers are in use day and night. Through the window of the washer, I can see a kind of grayish, pulpy sludge turned indefinitely by the big spinners. I guess someone wants it very clean. I've never been able to find out who pulled off the tunnel cover to start with. Although the joke is that the owners thought it would be cheaper than building a fire escape. The air from inside is inviting and cool. Oh. No, nothing important. I climb out into some kind of storeroom, dead moths under my feet. The clothes here look to be around 20 years old, which is not enough, so I'll have to go deeper. At this point, I feel I should explain something about the nature of the building. Like many cities, this one underwent many changes over the years. There was an industrial period, a retail period, a service period, etc., until gradually the things it manufactured became too abstract and indecipherable to be easily summarized in any way. I still hope to find out what they are myself someday. Anyway, with each change in the economy, the building was adapted to a new shape. New rooms added or closed off, each layer draped piecemeal over the last to form new spaces where opportunity might live. Speaking of which, ZZ says the sweet spot for nostalgia material is 30 to 40 years old, or old enough to smell like death. I think the internet is accelerating her tendencies toward the gothic. Personally, I've always been more about true crime. I displaced some spiders and rummaged in the box. Result, 3 copies of Patch Adams on VHS. A jigsaw puzzle with a picture of a boat. Miscellaneous plastic shit. I don't feel like carrying any of it back. The search goes on. pick up the Bort doll, a layer of greasy rubber skin comes off and sticks to my hands. The bulbous eyes roll crazily around. No good to sell. But maybe could be scavenged for parts. I make a mental note. Box of knives, barely used. T-shirt reading Blomby Dog, an abstract plastic toy with horribly detailed rubber feet that's covered in tufts of synthetic hair. The clothes rack seems to contain nothing but denim overalls with a smiling clown embroidered decal. They're covered with a soft layer of translucent mold that seems to be coming from the clown. I keep looking through the heaps, a clear plastic pyramid with a racing car inside, a pile of cassette tapes with the insides pulled out and knotted together, a copy of Steely Dan, live at the Gibbous. I push onwards. Another box. This one says, Stickies! And shows a smiling woman being encased in green slime. It's being held tightly shut with electrical tape. Why is this place so creaky? So far, tonight's pickings have been slim, so I keep moving and gradually find myself in a place I've never seen before. The corridors are narrow, but feel lived in somehow. The rooms get closer, the clutter more deliberate. Flyers for a local bingo night have been left in the hall. A potted plant that's still alive. Old but well-used office supplies that don't have too much dust. I hear soft whispering behind the walls. This part feels like a waiting room, but there's no one else around. Fresh magazines have been left on the couches. Who are they expecting here exactly? Is your name Donald Duck? Sure. No. I've got it. In that case, you must be Mickey Mouse. Oh, I press no again. If your name's not Mickey Mouse, then you must be Donald Duck. Please don't waste my time with insults to my intelligence. Anyway, come on inside. Help! Don't kidnap me. I'm not worth anything monetarily.
What's this? Why, it's a My First Strangle victim doll, circa 1971, in surprisingly good condition. I didn't believe we'd used up the last of them sometime before. I wonder where they found it.
What? I'm not a doll.
Really? They're dressed very similarly, though.
Help! Don't strangle me! I'm a real person! Help! A stupid coincidence.
Oh, they were a wonderful toy. If you opened up the torso, they had little plastic innards. And if you stood on their throats, their eyes would really bulge. Sometimes I think that's what first put me on the path of rural research before administrative duties began to take up all of my time. In truth, it makes little difference. It's like everybody in college, I lost the ability to distinguish people from dolls some time ago. I wonder why I'm talking to a toy. Old age. Soon I'll ask a member of staff to come in and carve off the skin, or cutting, or what have you, and we can figure out what lies inside. The path of pure research is long. In the meantime, there are committee meetings. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Wait, is this a college? College of what? Luckily, they seem to have a very abstract notion of knots, but I guess that's academia for you. Better of a moose. Has my fashion sense really been ripping off an obscure and horrible doll line for all these years? Is nothing new under the sun? They look too mutilated to be worth anything, so I guess the terrible secret dies with them. I tried to keep track of how far I was being carried, but lost track around a 11th flight of stairs. From the window, the town has a postcard aspect, like the view from a penthouse. I hear a drilling noise and breaking glass, and everything smells like sawdust and wet paint. Feeling like a work in progress. Something tells me I should stay out of people's way. The elevator shutters rusted shut, but at least I'm still in the network of the same antique security system. The buttons on the panel look like they've been melted by acid. This room's full of crude homemade machines, made of junk that's creaking and shifting. I'm not sure how many of them are supposed to work. Everything's just heaps of knives and chunks of balsa wood. Posters on the wall for a school production of Melmo the...
Boy, it's been a while since I got my hands dirty with one of you things. Now let me think. Is this a Phillips?
Posters on the wall for a school production of Melmo the Wanderer. Bring your own special effects. Use knives and drills for sale or exchange. Tuition in Esperanto, the language of the future. Oh, fuck, more books. A horrible noise of splitting plastic, screaming, and breaking can be heard from behind this door, which I resolve to stay firmly on this side of. Is this a teacher's lounge? Anatomical diagrams, crudely painted with astrology symbols, are scattered around the desks and walls, along with ashtrays and moldy, weeks-old coffee. Welcome, Bon Vivant. This demonstration apartment has been carefully set up for you to practice new techniques as though in the wild. Please restore all equipment to proper place after using. Well-maintained window ledges and ladders just out of sight allow easy access. Try softly tapping at the window from outside until someone comes to throw open the curtains for extra effect. The uncanniness of the intrusion will also buy you more time. Ideally, a murder is a dynamic interplay of the elements. Here, the passivity of the sleeping victim is aesthetically offset by a needless disproportion of knife violence. Remember your ABCs. Always be stabbing. We done it! Boy, they really went all out in renovating this place. Beneath the wallpaper, outlines of sealed doorways can be seen. Decades of staff rotas peel off the walls as I move by. Pages and pages of rambling text on moldering and discolored paper have been stuck up on the walls with what looks to be ketchup. The academic job market takes another toll.
So a history in the body of a murdered convict, while a severely sought in a decapitated king. Creating history is the duty of all murderers, and in the tools they hack with we see the reflection of a new age that is to come. To perfect murder, we must create a new universe devoted exclusively toward that purpose. We must also consider the possibility that we live in it already. To imagine a new society is to call it into being. We must first prepare a list of bylaws.
Photographs mark the inauguration of the college on the evening of the Great Vision. What's the point of portraits when everyone's wearing a mask?
My goodness, what's this? Having survived the workshops of necessity, I now find myself stranded in the new world of the aesthetic. Such are the thoughts of the general public as they make their cautious entrance into history. The central ideas of an age must be nurtured, after all. Paint and wood are nesting materials by which they attain the heat to thrive. Why waste time kicking down the doors? The House of Art has many windows. The new age will be theatrical, and thus we will stand to learn from theater. An empty space menaced by ominous facade. The fourth wall is the entrance to an alleyway, the length of which extends through all time. Think of new buildings will need to have alleyways like this.
Can art be a murder weapon? My thesis project will finally resolve this ancient question. Using pattern and form, it overwhelms and then destroys the subject's own sense of psychic and physical coherence. It just feels like a stupid music video.
Well, an experiment is just as valuable when it fails. That style of decoration is sure to be popular in the new regime, as people will want something interesting to look at while they're waiting to be killed. Please adjust your portfolios accordingly. The metaphors of chopping and carving embodied in sculpture are too trite to be of use. We find instead our purpose in an art of brilliant monuments, to kill people in the shadow of. You know, classicism. Sound sculpture masks the sound of distant screams, approaching steps. As such, I believe it will be very popular. Of course, Ultimately, such noises are the foundation of a far greater symphony, but there is no shame in being midwife to a dream. In our video lab, we can covertly influence the culture by filming our death fantasies and releasing them as commercial horror films. Our Bloody Night franchise has sold thousands of copies.
Bloody Night? Those shitty direct-to-video horror films that everybody watches just to make fun of?
Swish, squish.
Everybody what now?
A calm study nestles in the middle of the horrible murderer compound. Respectable leather-bound tomes line the walls. An aura of propriety seems to muffle all sound. I think my nose is bleeding. Copies of the owner's publications, including Introduction to the Western Canon, Advanced Studies in the Western Canon, Whatever Happened to the Western Canon, and The Western Canon Rocks Out, a British edition for teens and study groups. Picture of the hooded man I met when I woke up. The prestigious Dr. Zhu wows attendants at an academic soiree with his all-embracing knowledge of the cultural world. Oh!
I wonder, is it sentimental I held on to all the aspects of my old career? But I always wanted to live inside a tomb. Talking doll, you've been wandering around the pieces of the world that was. Wouldn't you like to visit a world that is to come? The interest of homicide has always been symbolic. Real death has no consequence and is in fact rather kitsch. What matters is the new world we can glimpse in this idea. What is the utopia of murder? The sun and the moon, knives, ropes, buildings, clouds, still streets in the dark blue fields. A trembling and horrible suspense that envelops all things, changing them completely while leaving them unchanged. The new world will need laws and art. We can teach them to be the hand that guides the knife, the hands of the killer. Did you know I saw him once? It was a night like this, and I knew my life would have to change. The most beautiful feeling I know is being able to see history unfolding, seeing yourself at the crest of that wave. A new world emerges from the coffin of the old. I have seen the world spirit splitting open ahead. Where are you? My eyesight is quite bad these days. I haven't moved like this for quite a while. None of us tend to leave campus these days. You know how it is. As you think, and the thickets grow denser.
I can still hear the flat, droning voice behind me, but these corridors seem quieter, more familiar. I could swear I once found a lost cache of troll dolls inside one of these rooms. The door is locked, but looks more maintenance-y than others. A sticker on the door says, "Unseal with hallway access panel." Am I near the location of the long-lost air conditioner controls? There's a lever on this, so it's probably the thing that opens the door. I'm getting sick and tired of being chased by murderers all night, and I am not going to look into this any further.
Who's there? Ah, it's you. My goodness. Mr. Killer, I know you get this a lot, but I'm a huge fan of your work. I would truly like to see it to get the critical attention it deserves. Have you ever considered co-authoring a paper?
Oh look, it's Mr. Killer. What's up? I think we're in the clear. BB's report, epilogue. After finding my way inside the vent, I was able to get back to the apartment without any further incident. Although all night long, strange noises echoed throughout the pipes. The next morning, we totaled up the day's haul. Result? Assorted pogs and a pamphlet that must have been placed in my pocket somehow. I thought the pamphlet might have been worth something, but ZZ says there are copies lying around inside the bus station for free. A frightening world's an interesting world to be in. Wide variety of classes, learn a trade, competitive tuition schemes.